Good evening. We'd like to welcome everyone to our Elmore County Commission work session dated Monday, February 24, 2020. We'll call this meeting to order. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all of those who are visiting with us tonight. We've got several elected officials. We have our coroner, Brad Linville. We've got Revenue Commissioner Lee Macon, and we've got Probate Judge John Thornton with us, so we appreciate you being here. We also have a special opportunity tonight to recognize one of our young men in our community. As you well know, this County Commission pledged about a year ago that anytime a student in Elmore County is deemed a state champion in any capacity, whether it be athletics or the top in any extracurricular activity on the state level and is a state champion, if we are made aware of it, then we would definitely like to recognize them. And some are easier for us to find than others. Some we're very aware of and are highly publicized, and this is definitely one of those cases. We are very proud of this young man from Wetumpka High School. Mason Blackwell is a junior at Wetumpka High School, and he is the first ever two-time state champion in wrestling at Wetumpka High School. And he accomplished that in the 170-pound weight class last year. And this year, he competed in the 182-pound weight class and was successful in being the 6A state champion. He had a record this year of 63-2. And 48 of those victories were by pin. And if I remember correctly, I try to follow this as best I can. I think that at the state championship, he pinned everyone in the first round. Is that correct? So he made light work of all of his competition at the state championship. So we are very proud of him. We're delighted that we can present him with a resolution signed by all the commissioners in recognition of his accomplishments. So we'd like to invite Mason and his coaches to come up here and we'll get a group picture. Let's all give him a round of applause. Come on up and we'll kind of fill in among the commissioners here. Right here. We'll do our best to get everyone.
We'll move forward where they can get.
Yeah, there you go.
I got some more room this way. Yeah. Congratulations. Thanks, sir. Thanks.
All right, along with this resolution comes the expectation that he will be the first three-time state champion at Wetumpka High School. Congratulations, Coach.
Whenever you want me to.
Go ahead right now. You can go ahead.
Also, I'd like to mention, while we're discussing that subject, that at the Tallahassee High School, we also had a state champion. His name is Zach Haynes. His parents are Beth and Dana Haynes, and we reached out to them. They could not be here tonight, but they will be coming at a meeting in the very near future, and we will be honoring Zach Haynes. He's the state champion in the 126-pound class, so we congratulate Zach as well. I know he's not here, but he may see this on the internet, so let's give him a good hand.
All right, thank you. And all of you who are here, if you hear or know of someone, any of our students at any of our schools in the county, please help the administrators and others know that we're trying to do this. We try to do as much research as we can. We'll now proceed with our regular business, a review of the minutes of the February 10, 2020 Commission meeting. Any comments or questions? All right, review of the memorandum of warrants for the period February 5, 2020 through February 18, 2020. Mr. Byer?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, for that period of time, the memorandum of warrants was $2,279,186.94.
Thank you. We'll proceed now with old business. Notice of a public hearing taking place on March 23, 2020 at 5 p.m. to discuss proposed right-of-way vacation by adjoining landowners of Johnson Street from town limits of Eclectic to Central Avenue in Eclectic. Proceed now with new business. We'd like to invite Revenue Commissioner Lee Macon to the podium to discuss the online auction contract for the tax lien sale.
Yes, we're actually looking at this year going into a online lien auction. Last year we moved to the lien sale. This year, kind of upgrading technologies and kind of putting it out there. It allows us to incorporate more people into our lien sale. Really open it up to where people don't have to come in here for the auction. They can actually sit at home, sit at their business, and do their bidding online. And it's pretty straightforward this year. The company, we will be the first county in the state to do it this way. So we're, trying out some new technologies in a new direction, and we're pretty excited. Mobile County will also be going through this with us in a similar time frame as well. So we're really looking forward to this. I'm excited about it. I'm really excited about bringing in this new technology to our system and to the state, actually. So, any questions?
I got a couple.
Okay.
One is, we're not switching companies, we're just adding technology.
Well, no, we don't have a company that does this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is where I would actually stand here last year and I would auction them off.
So you're doing it, but with new technology?
We're doing, yes, this is going to be done through our office, but it's going to incorporate it, allow us to bring in this company here. They have about 30,000 online auction people involved in their auctions already. So this is actually going to open that up a little bit to where we're getting more people involved in our auctions. So we don't have any leftover liens along those lines. So we make sure we collect those tax revenues.
When would it start?
We're actually going to do it this year, May 6th.
This year?
So yes, so here 1st of March, here in the next couple of weeks, this information will once we advertise on our website will be made available for the taxpayer, and they will be able to follow these liens as we get closer and closer to the lien sale. As they're paid before the lien sale, that information will be removed off our website.
One last question.
Yes, go right ahead.
Is there any additional cost?
This year there is no cost for us.
Okay.
Next year it will be a cost, but if we decide to go with it, but it will be the cost that will be included in the sale itself that the county will not incur.
Good deal.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? All right. We appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
We like to be first, so thank you. Discuss authorizing chairman and COO to execute finance documents for triaxle trucks, lowboy tractors, excuse me, and motor graders with Trustmark National Bank.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, this is an item where you approve the purchase of these pieces of equipment in the FY20 budget. We are now ready to go through the auction process, and we are acquiring the new pieces, which requires us to handle our financing. If you remember, that most of these pieces of equipment are rotated on a 3-year basis, so it's an ongoing equipment rotation program. In front of you, you've got a spreadsheet that was emailed out to you a few weeks ago when we finalized solicitations for finance rates, and Trustmark Bank was the lowest rate at 1.86%.
All right. Thank you. All right, we'll proceed. Consider awarding bid inquiry 2020-16, Portland Cement tanker load to National Cement Company of Alabama, the lowest responsible bidder. Any comments or questions there? All right, we'll proceed. Discuss update to Elmore County's flood damage prevention ordinance to meet the minimum requirements provided by the Office of Water Resources in the state's model flood damage prevention ordinance.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, as part of the National Flood Insurance Program, the state, through ADECA's Office of Water Resources, has minimum standards that communities must maintain to be able to participate in the program. These are minor tweaks. I sent out an email that had about 8 minor changes, basically definition and required documentation changes. No major change to requirements on homeowners in terms of elevations that they have to attain or anything like that. These are all administrative changes. These are things that were supplied to the state, from the state to us within the last 45 days, and we have tried to make sure they're in our ordinances and in place prior to March, which is the desired time frame for us to be in compliance with the state's requirements.
All right, thank you. Proceed now with consent docket. Approve memorandum of travel. Approve additional probate clerk 1 slot, full-time, to be reimbursed, funded from the probate judge's discretionary accounts for the remainder of the fiscal year 2020. Approve family medical leave request for William Robbins, investigator. Proceeding now to personnel notifications. Notification of hire of Jesse Hill, corrections officer, replace Jay Crumpton, effective 1/16/2020. Notification of reclassification of J. Thad Hankins from appraiser 1 to appraiser 2, effective 2/16/2020. Notification of hire of Beverly Brown, equipment operator 2, replace D. Lockhart, effective 2/18/2020. Notification of hire of Taylor Elliott, engineer tech 1, replace D. Eldridge, effective 3/2/2020. We'll now proceed with reports to the Commission. We'll begin with Mr. Byer.
Mr. Chairman, I only have 2 items tonight. The first actually is a request to include an item on the consent docket, which would be an approved family medical leave request. It was an item that came in late Thursday after the agenda was set. This would be for Robert Rogers, who is an equipment operator at the Highway Department. Ms. Kim has that information if y'all so deem to add that to the consent docket. The other item is just an update on our collection facility. Even with the weather that we have experienced over the last couple months, we are pretty close to having everything in place for the collection facility to go live. The date that we will have that facility open is March 4th, which is next Wednesday. Many of you may have been getting calls and seeing posts on Facebook. I know the Highway Department and Commission office phones have rung pretty steady off the hook in terms of when's that next countywide cleanup day. So we've been explaining that. We're rolling stuff out on information out on social media about that as well. The intention is for that facility to be open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The only caveat to that is if there's abuse of the facility, we'll have to do things to secure it in different manners. It will be monitored by cameras and city and county employees throughout the week. So we hope that if everybody uses it like countywide cleanup day and puts their items in there similar to countywide cleanup, we should be in pretty good shape. So I think that post went out earlier today. To be honest with you, I was about 50 emails into it before we started the meeting, trying to get caught back up. So if it didn't go out earlier today, it will go out in the morning. It has the location map. It has all that information. Ms. Kim has also worked that up on the county website. So if you go to the environmental section, everything the county commission has worked on the Clean County initiative that was announced back in the end of November, 1st of December, is on that website as well, including how to report issues with litter and trash. And we've had a number of those and been successful sharing that with the Sheriff's Department and getting some resolution to those issues as well. So, Mr. Chairman, that's all I have in the way of report. Do y'all have any questions for me?
Thank you. Is anyone in opposition to us adding the FMLA request for Robert Rogers? I'm not sure. Hearing no opposition, we'll have that added for our business meeting since it was a late addition. We'll now proceed with reports from the commission. We'll begin with Commissioner Holt.
It's good to see a pretty good crowd here tonight. It seems to be getting pretty consistent that we're having more than we had when we started, so that's a great thing. All of you know the election is tomorrow week, and I hope everybody exercises their right to do that. Surely you'll go vote, I hope. Whoever you vote for somebody. Something I'd like to go a step further on what our chairman said about being first. We're going to be first in this situation that Lee brought up with these tax foreclosures. We were first commissioned to file the plan to get our gas funds. Is that not correct? And we also, last year at Orange Beach in August, we were first in our division, or class, whichever way you want to call it, to with our insurance claims. And we won that. So I know that's 3 first. So, and I agree with our Mr. Chairman. We want to continue to be the first commission in the state to do everything we can. And one of the reasons I think that is because we have some good people and we work together, and you know, it just works out good that way. We got good employees. We didn't file that report with the state. That was handled under Richie's direction. But you know, you have to have good employees to get first place positions, and I think we do. So I'm thankful for that. And again, exercise your right to vote, and thank you for being here.
Thank you. Commissioner Daughtry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for coming. I'd like to particularly commend our Houghton County Highway Department. Over the last couple of weeks, we've had a lot of road issues, and certainly above average call volume, and stopped up drains and potholes where we've never had potholes before, and drainage issues and so forth. And without exception, our highway department has worked ever how long it takes after hours, or responded to those situations in a proficient manner. And I want to commend the leadership and all the employees for taking care of those issues, because when we're all at home relaxed and they're out here in the rain, sometimes taking care of urgent issues with our citizens, and I want to offer my appreciation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Mercer.
Thank you, Chairman. I will report in my capacity of being the legislative representative, committee representative for the ACCA for Elmore County. We have some legislation that we have introduced, a few pieces of legislation, one being the bill that would combine functions of the revenue commissioner and the probate judge, and we would pass most of the collection, or if not all the collection functions, over to the revenue commissioner. That has been introduced. It is moving through the State House, and we feel very confident that's going to be passed. And that will be one more thing that we have planned, put a plan in place, and we're working our plan to make our government, county government, operate more efficiently and better serve our citizens. That's all I have, Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Reeves. Thank you. Well, I will echo the sentiments of my fellow commissioners and our appreciation for each of you being here tonight. I'm delighted with the opportunity we had to recognize one of our young people from our community, and I hope that we will continue to have opportunities to do that, and that we will be given opportunities, each of us in our respective capacities, and each of you, to influence our young people in some way. We all have our own spheres of influence and opportunities to extend a hand of fellowship or encouragement to our young people, and I hope that we're taking advantage of that and not running away from those opportunities. We do have the election coming up on March the 3rd. I hope that each of you will exercise your right to vote. I'm sure that you will, and I hope that we will see great participation in our county. We not only have some local races, but all of the races and the amendment on the ballot are all very important to Elmore County. And I hope that you, if you have not already, that you will seek opportunities to learn about the candidates in the respective races that you may have an opportunity to vote in, and do your very best to navigate through that information and make the best choice you can. Also, a reminder about the census that's coming up. You have probably seen signs throughout our community, and some are from the city and some are from the county. But those signs are out, and we hope that everyone is aware of the importance of the census. This will be a major push from the governor all the way down to our local officials to make sure that people are out and participating in the census. And that's something that each of us can do. We can lead by example in participating in the census and then encouraging others to do so. And I'll close with this. I think that as a commission, I've enjoyed the opportunity for us to see some of the things we've worked on come to fruition. We're seeing our implementation of our merit-based pay increases are actually being implemented now. We've seen our new job descriptions be implemented. We're seeing a new collection site and an opportunity for us to try to clean up our county. Those things are coming into fruition, and we're seeing them implemented, and we're learning, and if there's tweaks or adjustments that need to be made, then we're ready to do that. I've always subscribed to General George S. Patton. He once said, "A good plan executed now is better than a perfect plan next week." And I subscribe to that because there is no perfect plan. And so as we execute a good plan that we have belief in, that we've put time and energy and effort into, we execute that plan. And then if there are changes or adjustments or modifications, then we need to be prepared to do that based on what we observe. And I'm excited that we have an active commission and we have active employees that are willing to put things out there, willing to take opportunities, look for things that we can do to make differences or make a change, and then be prepared to modify and adjust if necessary. And we've done a good job of that, and I look forward to continuing to do that with my fellow commissioners. We'll now turn the time over to Kimberly for important calendar dates.
This Wednesday, February 26th through Monday, March 2nd will be the NACO Legislative Conference in Washington, D.C. Next Tuesday, March 3rd, the polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. for the primary election. Monday, March 9th is our next commission meeting at 5 p.m. with the business meeting following, and our second meeting in March will take place on March 23rd.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Could I say one other thing?
Yes, sir.
I would like to commend you, Judge Thornton, on the way you're handling this hire. I think that that's really good on your part, because you know how the system works with us budgeting and so forth. Thank you very much.
All right, we'll reconvene shortly. Good evening. I'd like to welcome you to our Elmore County Commission business meeting dated Monday, February 24, 2020. We'll call this meeting to order. We'll begin with an invocation offered by Commissioner Mercer, following which Commissioner Reeves will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Chairman. If you bow your heads, please. Father, we come to you tonight, Lord. Thank you for loving us, Lord. We thank you for bringing us here safely. Father, we ask that you give us continued guidance on making decisions on what's best for our citizens of our county. We thank you for giving us an opportunity to serve, Father. Bring us home, take us home safely. We love you. Amen.
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 Ms. Kim, would you call roll?
Commissioner Holt?
Here.
Commissioner Daughtry? Here. Chairman Stubbs?
Here.
Commissioner Mercer?
Here.
Commissioner Reeves?
We'll proceed with regular business. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the February 10, 2020 Commission meeting as presented during the work session?
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs?
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves?
Yes. Is there a motion to approve the memorandum of warrants for the period February 5, 2020 through February 18, 2020?
Motion to approve.
Second. Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt,
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry,
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs,
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer.
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves.
Yes.
Proceed now with new business. Is there a motion to approve the contract with GovEase Auction LLC for online tax lien auction?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt,
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry,
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs,
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer.
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves.
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve authorizing chairman and CEOO to execute finance documents for triaxle trucks, lowboy tractors, and motor graders with Trustmark National Bank?
I make that motion.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt,
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry,
Mr. Chairman, I respectfully recuse myself as I sit on the advisory board of Trustmark Banks in Tallahassee and Eclectic.
Chairman Stubbs,
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer.
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves.
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve awarding bid inquiry 2020-16 Portland Cement tanker load to National Cement Company of Alabama, the lowest responsible bidder?
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt,
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry.
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs,
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer.
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves.
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve update to Elmore County's flood damage prevention ordinance to meet the minimum requirements provided by the Office of Water Resources in the state's model flood damage prevention ordinance?
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt,
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry.
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs,
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer.
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves.
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve the consent docket as presented in the work session?
Motion approved. Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt,
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry.
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs,
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer.
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves.
Yes.
Personnel notifications. Notification of hire of Jesse Hill, Corrections Officer, replace Jay Crumpton, effective 1/16/2020. Notification of reclassification of J. Thad Hankins from Appraiser 1 to Appraiser 2, effective 2/16/2020. Notification of hire of Beverly Brown, Equipment Operator 2, replace D. Lockhart, effective 2/18/2020. Notification of hire of Taylor Elliott, Engineer Tech 1, replace D. Eldridge, effective 3/2/2020. Are there any additional reports to the Commission? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion. Second.
Ms. Kim?
Commissioner Holt,
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry.
Yes.
Chairman Stubbs.
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer.
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves.
Yes.
We are adjourned.